Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. My name is Rich, and I'll be your host for this week's episode of Bitches Be Batty. So I hope you all saw the trailer, and I hope that's why you're coming back to check out the stories that we're going to present here. And right, I'll just get right into it. I'm going to start with my story. So here we go. About 12 years ago, I met a woman, went out with her for a few months, had a child with her. Didn't realize till years later she was a total narcissist. Ignored the warning signs. Because I'm an empathetic person, I just kept ignoring the warning signs. So years down the road, I end up getting into disputes with her over parenting. She also had 4 other children from 4 other fathers, if that gives you a clue. Right away. Ding, ding, ding. I should have ran, turn around and run, but I didn't. So after many instances of having the police come to the home because she was abusive mentally and physically. And for those of you who are thinking, how could she abuse you physically? You're gay. You're a big guy. What's the matter? What's the matter is you cannot raise your hand to your ex or your spouse or your girlfriend or any other woman for that matter unless your life is in danger. Otherwise, you will pay a significant price, and you must think about that when you're going through all of this and dealing with this type of person. So we decided to separate, and I had asked her to leave my home. My son would stay with me, she could have visitation and so forth. Long story short, she never left, and I figured for the sake of my son, maybe I'll try and work it out, see if she changes her behavior, and lo and behold, wrong decision. So remember this also. So fast forward, this happened 2 more times, and now I'm in the middle of 3rd time, and I finally had enough. I put my foot down. I got the courage to move forward and take this to family court, which is where it needed to be. Okay? After several instances of having the police come to my home, they doing absolutely nothing. I got the order of protection from the judge, which was a refrain from which you could wipe your ass with, especially if you're a guy. The judges never give you the stay away, which would have been the best thing for everyone. So she violated that many times. I called the police, had him at my home about 20 times. After I got the order of protection, refrained from, and they did absolutely nothing. And the only thing that happened was me losing my cool and having the police tell me, "Sir, you should leave your home, take a break." So you look at yourself and you say, I gotta leave my home. I'm not doing anything. I'm just trying to mind my own business. I go to different rooms. I go outside, smoke a cigar, have a glass of whiskey, come back inside, just want to go to sleep. She stays upstairs. I stay downstairs. Come on, why do I got to leave my home? Why can't you get rid of her? And they told me, if you want to get rid of her, you have to evict her. Now, guys, girls too. Have you ever heard of this? You got to evict your husband or wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend, and that process takes 3 months and $3,000. So that's the route that I went. And in the interim, it got pretty nasty. And I ended up having to leave my own home because she changed the doors on the lock, the locks on the door, so I couldn't get back into my home. And I ended up moving in with my sister for a few months until everything kind of settled down and she was evicted. So in that process, I also had security system in my home with cameras, and they disabled all of my cameras. I couldn't see what was going on anywhere in my home if they were damaging or destroying anything, which they certainly did. And they took a lot of things that didn't belong to them. As a matter of fact, when I discussed this with my ex-girlfriend, one of her issues was she said, "You don't make me feel wanted." I don't feel wanted, and I said no. On the contrary, you're wanted, I want you to pack up your shit and leave mine alone. So look at what happened. And I was doing my best to maintain my cool and my resilience through the whole process, and I was doing pretty well. But throughout that time she was there, I discovered she also robbed me of over $150,000 from my company bank account. By forging checks to herself, she would write checks out to herself out of my account and then forge my signature, and it's plain as day. You could see the signature is a forged forge. I went to the police. They did an investigation that took months again. Finally, they arrested her because they had enough probable cause, and now it's in criminal court. And now I find out that the ADA is having this case adjourned for a year and will most likely be dismissed. That was last week. You can imagine what I did. I blew my lid, lost my temper loose, my cool on the ADA because the system is just so stacked against us. It's disgusting, actually. It doesn't make you proud to be part of this country, which I try to be, always. So I found myself broken down, rubbed down to my core. Nothing left was going to just walk away from it. All felt terrible, because I thought I was going to be abandoning my son if I gave her full custody. Until, I started really thinking about the situation and how tough I really am, and I wasn't going to let this ruin my son's life or my life because I still need some peace too. Nothing was working out. And in later episodes, we can get into it. You can ask me questions, and I'll honestly open them for you. But right now, I just want to make the point that the system is geared and stacked against us, and the system is not fair. It's a rigged system. It's geared to protect the criminals and not the victims. All respects criminal courts, family courts, civil courts. The judges who are appointed do not deserve to be there. They don't always make good decisions. They're swayed by the narcissistic liars all the time. They can't pick them out. They have no idea. And all they know how to do is spend your money on more hearings and more legal fees. Catching, right? If any of you have been through it, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in the middle of it, I'm going to hopefully help you through this with my experience and what I've learned. So I tried to turn to psychology, and I started reading anything and everything I can get on how to deal with the narcissist and how to beat them in their own game. And I was getting pretty good at it, and I thought I was good at it, but they always try and suck you back in, and there's always that one little thing or one little way that they'll get you back in. And I fell for it. So I keep practicing. It's an ongoing learning experience. I keep practicing it. Then I said, okay, you know what? Let me turn to faith and religion because I had lost faith for a very long time. So I started going back to synagogue. Yes. For those of you who may have not guessed already, I am Jewish. And please, I don't really specifically lean one way or the other towards religion. If you're a believer in Christ, that's wonderful. If you're a believer in Hashem and Moses, then that's wonderful. Also, I try and stay in the middle. We weren't alive back then, so you just have to have faith on what has been written and the tales from history. So I researched both religions, and I've taken a little bit from both and kind of created my own. But the point is, no matter what you are, I tried to get my faith back, and it really wasn't happening for me. I started reading from both Bibles, listening to preachers from both sides, and just kind of picked and chose what I liked and found helpful to me. Then I was researching some more, looking online, watching some podcasts and videos, and there was a doctor. I think her name was Dr. Dow. Romani. She was very good explaining the narcissist and how to deal with it. And I am at the point where she discusses right now indifference. I'm indifferent to the situation. I don't let it bother me, or I try very hard not to. And then it just so happened that late last night after the news, there was a journal who had on a guest speaker, I think his name was Michael Colton, who was a 40-year-old man, who was arrested and in prison several times after massive drug and alcohol abuse. And he was put in a holding tank with a murderer. And he was put where the murderers were. And he met this 75-year-old gentleman who was a murderer who couldn't read. And he started reading the Bible, and he was talking about the book of John. Now I'm honest. I know nothing about it, and I'm going to look into it today and try and learn about it. And he turned to faith and religion. And once he let God in, he explained he was released the next day. So the question is, how do you let God in? How do you get your faith back? So his explanation of it was he took a deep breath in and exhaled. And when he exhaled all his rage, anger, and what have you. And he started to feel better. And then he started to forgive, but he also realized that he was part of the problem, and you have to accept that you are part of the problem. At first you're like, this is my soulmate. Later you're like, I need a legally binding document explaining why I hate their breathing. Nothing makes you feel poorer and angrier faster than someone billing you $500 an hour to say, "Yeah, this is going to get ugly." They love that phrase. This might get ugly. Buddy, I'm here because it's already ugly. I'm paying you to make it official. Court turns normal relationship problems into crimes. Oh, you moved the money? That's not budgeting anymore. That's financial warfare. And suddenly everything is evidence. Text, emails, tone emojis. Oh, you used a period at the end of the sentence? Clearly hostile intent. Judges don't care either. You're pouring your heart out like, "Your Honor, I gave them my best years." And the judge is like, "Cool, who gets the blender?" Divorce teaches you a lot. Like how love is temporary, memories fade. But joint assets, those haunt you forever. And people say at least it's over. Because I'm still paying monthly for a relationship I don't even get invited to anymore. Marriage is supposed to be till death do us part. Divorce is more like till the lawyers finish college.